Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here today to cover Toonami's ratings from this past Saturday, February 19th, 2022. Let's start with the top of the block. At the top of the block, we have Shenmue at a 0.14, Attack on Titan at a 0.12, The Assassination Classroom at a 0.10, Made in Abyss at a 0.10, One Piece at a 0.09, followed by another episode of One Piece at a 0.08, Naruto Shippuden at a 0.07, and Cowboy Bebop finishes off at a 0.06. Ultimately, this has probably been one of the best weeks for Tanami in recent memory. This might be the highest ratings for Tanami we've gotten since losing Family Guy. I don't think we had a lead above a 0.13 since then, and we got a 0.14 this week with Shenmue. And it's interesting to analyze this. First off, you have Shenmue, and the fact that Shenmue is doing pretty well ratings-wise is kind of surprising considering I've heard almost no chatter about the show outside the typical Tanami sphere of things. Like, for comparison, when we're talking about other Tanami originals or Crunchyroll originals, you go back to the two Fully Cooley sequels we had back in 2018. I heard a lot of chatter about that outside of Tanami. People talking about just general anime. People were talking about the Fully Cooley sequels. So at that time, it looked like Tanami was doing a great job, at least at promoting their shows back then. And then go recently, Fena Pirate Princess. I actually heard quite a few people talking about it, especially the first few weeks of Fena Pirate Princess, and a generally positive reception as well. Then with Blade Runner, there was the initial hurrah of something with the Blade Runner franchises happening. And then with Shenmue, I really didn't hear anything about Shenmue outside of Tanami or whenever there would air a commercial or two on a General Adult Swim. And that makes it more surprising that Shenmue, out of at least the three we've gotten this past year or so original shows, has probably performed the best. I didn't really catch up to Shenmue past the first episode, which I thought was okay. It wasn't gripping, but at the same time, I've look Crunchyroll the past years kind of fucked up in terms of originals. You can talk about, well, Fena for the most part was good. You could defend Blade Runner Black Lotus. Don't forget, not every Crunchyroll original aired on Toonami. Remember, 2021 Crunchyroll originals also included X-Arm, which a lot of people forgot about, but was notorious for its crappy animation, a bunch of things wrong with it, and the very infamous High Guardian Spice, which High Guardian Spice is another thing. I'm going to just briefly talk about that. I'm going to go back to the ratings in a second. High Guardian Spice, like, originally when people did the initial promo video, the whole thing was, oh, it's going to be woke. That's going to be the problem. Because they were really fixating on the whole, we have our studio full of women. It's women driven. That ends up being the least of your concerns. I have never seen an anime. I watched a couple episodes because I was dared to, that was as broken, not as like an anime, not in terms of plot or anything, but just as a physical piece of media. Sound design was, it's like the type of thing, I'm pretty sure you can get a handful of people on Sony Vegas. You can do sound design better than the show. Pitch in for Sony Vegas or whatever fly by night digital shit, audio shit you could pull up, and you would make it better. It's just a whole other things too. The plot was shit too. I couldn't even fucking follow it. It's We're gonna look back on it in 20 years like we look at something like Twinkle Star Rock Me Nora, or whatever the fuck that was called from like the 1980s. Or that one anime from the 80s that was literally based off of like a manga and ends up being just like a 45-minute AMV using illegally copyrighted music. Good songs, by the way, like Take a Look at Me Now by Phil Collins, like Let's Hear It for the Boy by Denise Williams. Those are great songs. I don't even fucking remember the name of this anime. It's like twin brothers that are like movie actors. They're like stars. One, like, the whole thing is they switch off who's the movie star and which one's the act, which one lives a normal life, because people don't know there's two of them, but they just think it's one. And then there's like a girl who like follows them around and is like on a bet. I can tell which one is which or something. I'm getting off topic. Back to Toonami. Back to Toonami. Shenmue had a good night. Attack on Titan also had a good night. It went up 400 to 0.12. Attack on Titan, I think we've got 9 episodes left of this. It'll be interesting to see how the ending is received on Tanami, because the general chatter I've heard online was a lot of people did not like the ending. I don't know that much about Attack on Titan. I know what Attack on Titan is, obviously. I don't follow it religiously, so I don't have an opinion on it. Then you have Assassination Classroom, which Showbuzz Daily still loves calling Assassination Nation, which sounds like the awesome name of a sequel where Koro Sensei's bastard children show up and like the kids are grown up and they have their own families and it's gonna turn into like Spy X Family, but like they have to kill a bunch of these tentacle fuckers. I think that would be an awesome idea of a show. And you have Made in Abyss, which is still absolutely killing it 5-6 weeks in. I love Made in Abyss. I cannot talk about it enough. I cannot rave about it enough. And I've done a good job of not spoiling myself. All I know is that there's some weird bunny fucker who shows up soon because the fucking ending animation has this bunny fucker around with Reg and Rico. I like all the characters so far. I just like it too. And then One Piece actually ends up not being a disappointment of a week. It only drops a little bit from Made in Abyss. Last week it just absolutely craters off after Made in Abyss. So a good week there for One Piece. And Naruto and Cowboy Bebop just finish up from there. All right weeks, but you can't say much about Shippuden or Cowboy Bebop because they're just kind of slaves to what the shows in front of it do. But overall, very solid week for Tanami. Very promising. And right now, I haven't looked at today if there's been any announcements, so I wouldn't be surprised if I do another video 10 minutes from now, I'm like, well, we got a new show announcement or something like that. But as of last I checked, we haven't had any show announcements for a couple weeks now, which makes me think Toonami is content to just keep One Piece at a marathon, at a double header each week. I don't blame them. One Piece is a very slow-paced show. You kind of have to watch two at a time. Overall, promising for Tanami. We might have turned a corner because 2021 had an ugly ending for Tanami, especially with Family Guy leaving the block. What do you guys think? Leave your comments and opinions down below. I'm the Super Orange Cat, and that is all.